Hey everyone. Hey everybody, how's it going? Another early morning on Sunday, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying these videos. Lots of nice comments on the last couple. But anyways, today we're going to talk about one of the unsung heroes of rock guitar, um, Mike Campbell, and this is inspired by my student Mike, another Mike, that we just were kind of talking about stuff and guitar players this week in his lesson, and we came across this song and Mike Campbell. So Mike Campbell's an amazing guitar player for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I don't know where my Damn the Torpedoes album is, or any of my other albums, but my kids have a greatest hits album here. And you know, just like the Triumph album, hey, it opens up, but you know, this is actually a reissue. But American Girl, yes, American Girl, amazing song. A little bit of trivia: the last song that Tom Petty ever played on stage. It was his final song in his set. Believe the Hollywood Bowl. I can't remember. I saw the video. Mike Campbell, what an amazing player. Played everything for the song. Tom Petty and him were probably some of the biggest gearheads ever. If you ever saw their collection of guitars, their warehouse, and just basically if you ever heard any stories about them and seen them live, which I haven't seen them live. We were supposed to go see them in the final tour, which we were kicking ourselves for not seeing him then, because he's obviously gone, and rest in peace. Yeah, lots of beautiful guitars from Tom and Mike, and this song in particular, American Girl. Mike Campbell played a telly, so I brought my telly out for you. There's an interesting story to go over this telly. Maybe if you want to hear guitar stories, I can tell a guitar story a little bit later. Mike Campbell played the telly. Tom Petty played. I believe he has a bunch of different guitars. I saw him. There's a show called Fridays. I don't know if you guys remember this show called Fridays. It was like ABC's answer to Saturday Night Live. Skits, really bad skits. Well, I'm gonna say really bad, but they're a little bit more racy, or how do you say, a little bit more, you know, on the edge than Saturday Night Live, which is hard to believe. But I guess they were in competition. But the one thing about Fridays, the only reason I really watched Fridays was the musical guests were just incredible. You know, they were, as Tom Petty. One's most memorable ones was Journey and Heart. Just watched Journey and Heart and those the two shows, and I think there was a show that Plasmatics was on, which was kind of good because when Neil Williams sawed the guitar in half with a chainsaw. Interesting. But one night I tuned in, Tom Petty was on, and they played American Girl, and Tom was playing that's close to my heart, if you know me, a Rickenbacker double neck, hollow body Rick, you know, and he was playing that on American Girl, and of course Mike played the telly. And saw Mike play with Fleetwood Mac last year when we could go to concerts. Last November, loudest guitar player I've ever heard in an arena. And you know, I'm not talking about metal bands and everything else, but I mean, as far as being above the band, his roadie came out to do the sound check, and my God, the building was shaking. And you look on stage, and you have like a little hut built around his amps, because you know, I guess Fleetwood Mac is not an incredibly loud band, but he got his tone from cranking those amps, and that's one thing. Another thing about him and Tom, the amp sound was just amazing. Anyways, let's take a little look at American Girl here. I'm not going to do the whole song, just the part that you're interested in, that little fast part at the end. Anyway, so just a little bit of note about the beginning. Two guitars. Mike's playing the octave D, 10th fret, 7th fret on the G. And a little tidbit there, you really want to hit all 6 strings and get all that percussive stuff, but how do you do that? You have to mute stuff, and everybody's got their own ways of muting. Muting is a real important thing that doesn't get taught a lot, but you should mute strings by using unused parts of your right and left hand. In this case, I'm just running the middle finger up the center here to get the lower strings. Anyways, that's Mike's part. Tom goes, which is just basically a D suspended second. Suspending the open E string is the second. And then just kind of hammering on the A note on the D chord, our basic D. And then I played the little progression at the end that's over top of the fast part, which is D at the breakdown, E, G major to the A major. And then that E is kind of a minorish with your D over D at the top. So it's kind of like E over D kind of thing. But you can hear the minor. You can hear the minor third, which is G over top of that E minor. But the whole song is in D major, kind of ringing like that G chord. And as you know, the guitar kind of rings in G. Which is an awesome thing if you like playing in G. Anyhow, so that's the chord progression you play. Remember, you got to target the chords and think about the chords when you're playing the leads, and that's what Mike does in this instance, which he does most of the time if you really analyze his stuff. So you're looking at this is underneath. So his first part of that fast part is and then exact same shape, 2 frets higher, and then this guy, the G, a little difference there because we're playing the C sharp instead of the C, and then up here to the final shape here, which you're rooting at the 14th fret, which is A. Now, if you know your A-shaped bar chord, which is this guy here, those are your 4 chords which were here. So D, E, G, A. Poetic justice here is that's really the E minor actually works better as E major there. But the one difference is now this is the difference between, I always talk about the mechanical and the musical. Guitar players, we're a little mechanical. We like those box. We like playing box patterns and all that things and moving those boxes. Sorry, but that doesn't always work musically because we like to just think of mechanically things that we can move our fingers fast. But in this case, it's a shape that holds down the back end of the D chord, right there, straight line, and then we're going to play. The lick is actually between the G and the D and the B strings, G and the B strings. So you're playing the A, 10th fret on the B string, the G, which is 8th fret on the B string, and then your pedal note here is the D over the D chord. And just remember that shape, because that's the shape that's going to be all 3 of them are identical. The 4th is got one little minor change that we'll take a look in a second. So that first one. Now, that's great if you got your left hand. Executing the picking is interesting, where you got to go. You're doing outside picking. Here's your 2 strings. You're doing up and down. This is your B string. This is your G string. Up, down, upstroke, downstroke. So you get that speed, you get a wrist speed. So upstroke, pull off, and downstroke on the G. So if you're just picking, this is what you're doing. If you're playing it together. So you can also hybrid pick this. Probably get some more speed by doing that. So maybe hybrid pick it, where your hybrid is just basically pulling up on the first index, middle finger, and downstroke on the pick, the regular way. So that one's the same. The E is the same. The D, that was the D. Exact same shape for the B. Exact same shape for the E. And then for the G, the C major or the C natural does not work over D. That's why we make that minor change to the C sharp right here. Exact same picking, exact same fingering. It's finger motion about what strings, but you just change that one note. And then the last one, the A. Yikes, that was not A, that was A sharp. There we go. And that's it. Tune in again when we can talk about another guitar player, and hopefully I'll have the album to go with it. Anyways, if you're enjoying these, great. Love you. Have a good one. Thanks, Mike Humby, for inspiring this one. Bye-bye.